What up, though? OG Kenny, O_G_ Kenny at Retired from the Streets TV. And welcome to another hot day in Detroit. Jesus, it's hot, man. And let me explain, like, where I'm at, if I don't cut the AC off and the fans off, or, like, when y'all hear other episodes with that bzzz in the background, that's literally my fan way in the distance. But that bad boy be picking up, you know, so I didn't want to go through it. I got tired of the audio issue, so I just said, you know what? Cut the fan off, deal with the heat for a minute until we get the central air back kicked in this bad boy. But long story short, man, can y'all imagine right before y'all 16th birthday, right? You know, you get into some trouble, right? Something real bad. Now, whether you guilty or not, you in this trouble. And you got to think, a lot of young dudes nowadays getting charged. Well, it been like that since Nathaniel Abraham, the homeboy out of Pontiac, where they was charging. He was 11 years old when they charged him with murder. Sentenced him to juvenile till he turned 21 or something like that. So they've been targeting our babies, right? And I say our babies real passionately when they've been targeting our babies for quite some time. After they nagged all them dudes in the 80s, and you know, all of our role models that we looked up to, where they was pushing the bag or whatever, a lot of those dudes held the communities together too. You know, it was bad because it spread like wildfire, but when it came to the people that was coming up, a lot of us was safe. The ones who was grown made their decisions. That sound crazy, it sound horrible, but that's the truth. What I'm saying is, though, late 80s, 1989 to be exact, my brother Reggie X, Reggie Thomas, was 16 years old and was already on trial for a body. Can you imagine being that? Oh, and this is what I'm talking about when I say right before his 16th birthday, at 15 years old. His birthday in December. The crime that they convicted him of was committed November the 2nd, 1988. His birthday was a little over a month later. December the 18th. I met this dude, Reggie X, in 1998 at GR Cotton on the yard. We both young. He 4 years older than me. So at the time, he was 25 years old, 26. Well, 26, because I was 22 when I met him. Like a lot of these stories I'm telling y'all right now, I wasn't up but 22 years old when these stories occurred. And them prison stories, I was 22 when all this stuff was happening. I wasn't like no old seasoned prisoner or nothing. I was a young buck. I ain't had no mustache. I didn't get my mustache till after, like, my last year in prison. My mustache finally started crustifying. You understand what I'm saying? I finally started getting some of that lip fuzz, right? But I met this dude, solid brother. This is my brother, my Atlantic brother, my Muslim brother. So I met him under the banner of Islam. So I embraced him. Cocky dude, strong as a mud, you feel me? Pull up game dumb, push up game stupid. And he put me hip to a lot of ways to develop myself outside of Albert Jr. and them other dudes I told you that got my arms right and all that, right? I just took a little bit from everybody and perfected my bodybuilding craft, right? I kind of nowadays I don't even go to bodybuilding, I go more for fitness and tone, but yeah, you get it. When I meet him, I didn't believe what he was saying. You know, at 20-something years old, mid-20s, he's still young. And he had been gone already damn near a decade. You understand what I'm saying? And then he still had like 20 years to go. And how they was planning was they was seeing him every 5 years. They charged my brother and convicted him with assault with intent to commit homicide, right? Which they gave him 20 to 40 for that. They gave him a second degree homicide, which they gave him 30 to 60 for that. And then they also hit him for a short barrel shotgun or rifle and gave him 3 to 5 for that. You know, and that's a short barrel rifle in this sense we call it a sawed off. Everybody in the world that, you know, familiar with the streets, we call it a sawed off shotgun, right? So you got to think, 16 years old, mind you, 16 years old, convicted of assault with intent and all these other heinous crimes and doing all this time. My dog over there tripping, so y'all excuse me, right? Wait till I want to film and start licking and chewing. But I meet the dude, solid dude, and he telling me I got all this time to do, brother. Now, we started working out together, walking the yard. He didn't give me the specifics of what happened to his crime. I didn't ask. All I know is that he was like, damn, bro, You basically you the age I am when I'm about to get out of prison. So all these deep conversations we start having about life, about having kids, about remorse, about regret, about learning to make the right decisions. Because like at 15, 16 years old, you still don't know what the hell you're doing. You don't know. I was 20-something years old when I got out of prison, 26 years old, and I still was a baby and still naive and slow to a lot of things that pertains to life. So as I'm starting to get to know Reggie X on the yard, and I'm seeing how he maneuvering and how he act, he very much a man. He very much a solid soldier, stand-up dude. Wasn't buying nothing. Wasn't crazy, wild, nothing, you know. Very aggressive and assertive. But he was still a child in a lot of ways. He had grew up in the penitentiary. He had spent the latter part of his teens and all of his 20s up to that point incarcerated. And my heart went out to him. I got real close to him. We locked in with information and whatnot. I stayed in touch with him over the years. But on them yards, man, on that yard and all them different days that we walked those tracks, and he started telling me about all the stuff he got into in prison. All the fights, you know what I mean? All the dudes running up on him with knives, and he had to put them together with his hands. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm seeing paperwork that he bringing out to me, showing me. Because one dude said, man, you act like you was Hercules. And he said, okay, man, I got something on it. Put some money on it. Paperwork Fridays. Right? So he brings paperwork out and was showing dudes all these different charges that they had against him as a young dude. 17, 18, 19, 20 years old in prison. All these fights and assaults. And a lot of them come from him defending himself. Because he wasn't really no wild cat like I'm just about to bust you upside the head. But he had that streak in him, though, where he wasn't buying nothing. You would get your head bust, though, too. This was my big bro. Somebody I kind of admired as far as being solid and how he moved through the yard. You understand? And I appreciated the time that we spent together because it taught me a lot about manhood. About you ain't always got to be the dude with your chest stuck out. You can still be silly, crack jokes, have a sense of humor, even though you're incarcerated and doing this time. I learned that from being around dudes like Reggie X, Sydney X, Daddy X out of Jackson, Michigan. My man Marcus Mann. All these dudes that I was rotating around young. So, let me tell you something, right? Years, man, Reggie X lost contact for years. I had reached back out to him once. He sent the letter. I sent something back to him. It's hard to stay in touch with dudes that's doing a lot of time because they move around a lot. Sometimes they get tired of one facility. They'll bust a dude head just because the kites that they send and say, hey, I want to go start at a new facility. I'm tired of this spot. I've been down a long time. I've been cool here. Can y'all ship me somewhere else? They don't want to hear that. They're like, whatever. You got to be the snitching on somebody. Act like your life in danger. Some dudes that send a kite on themselves. Like somebody about to hurt this dude. Even though they talking about themselves just to get them off the yard. Because they tired of being there. So being the case with dudes that's got long indeterminate sentences or long term sentences anyway, 20, 30, 40 years, right? Because this dude had a minimum of 30 years, had been down 10, had 20 more to go, and was still a youngster. So you talking about he 26 years old and still got 20 years to go. He coming out when he 40-some years old. Off and on, we lost contact. I reached back out to him in 2018. Yep, I reached back out to him because I had been home at that time a little over 2 years. I'm like, damn, I'm looking through my old notes, paperwork and stuff. I got a Foot Locker. I'm going to do a Foot Locker reveal for y'all. I think that'll be interesting. I'm going to go in my old Foot Locker that I done had since 98. I ain't been in that boy in quite some years now. But it got a lot of paperwork in there and stuff from just my prison experiences, pictures, and all type of paraphernalia I kept from prison. Maybe I knew that I was going to do this one day, right? I reached back out to Reggie X because I found his name on some paperwork. And my brother called me. He hit my line as soon as I sent him the information about a day or two later. I'm like, dog, what you need? He's like, man, I'm getting short. I said, I know, bro. And I said, you know, it's been a minute since we talked. I kind of apologize for not being in touch with him like I had promised. But, you know, life, he understood life happens. He kept losing my information, so he wasn't getting back with me in a timely fashion. And I had, honestly, not just him, probably about 30, 40 other dudes on my roster of dudes I was sending. My JPay is lengthy. I got lengthy JPay. Right, my JPay old too. I had the JPay quite some time, so I got a lot of dudes I had to reach out to. He said something to me, man, that, you know, was inspiring, but broke my heart at the same time. He's like, man, I'm on my way home. He's like, I'm geeked about it, but it ain't nothing but another day. And I'm like, damn, I hope he not you know, I hope they ain't chipped at him enough to where he broken, so that when he come home, he understand you still valuable to us, bro. Dudes like you is what inspired me to do this. So I tell these stories, and I'm reaching out and reaching back and telling stories about these type of dudes because, one, I remember these experiences. They stuck out of my head. They had a profound effect on me. But also, these dudes need to be able to tap in no matter where they at in the world and say, that's me he talking about. I meant something to this dude right here, and he doing something with his life. That's important to me. I don't care about nothing else. I don't care about being... Look, this ain't really... Like, a lot of people say, you got a prison channel. I don't really have a prison channel. I got a what you call that, a rehabilitation almost channel from streets and prison. I'm just telling y'all a lot of my prison stories because my street stuff that I did prior to me coming to prison for my first bid, even though I did a lot of stuff, it wasn't... I did some wild stuff, but it ain't so noteworthy that I want to tell it on here. I might put it in a book or something one day. How about that? I throw it in a book because it's a little more detailed and a lot more go with it. So I'm telling y'all a lot of this to say that, man, I'm reaching to these dudes because they need to be... They need their flowers right now. Reggie X still alive. Reggie X came home 2019, went back to Flint, where he from, Genesee County, and Reggie, like, was tied in real heavy with them boys on Dayton Avenue. You know, Dayton family. You know, Ira Dorsey and all them boys. Shout out to the Dayton family. Shout out to Dayton family and FBI. You know, the F Being Indicted album. That rolled me through my first year, 2, 3, 4, whatever, when I first got locked down. I got in touch with Reggie X when he came home in 2019. And then he needed some money, like a few hundred. I told him, give me a few days. I hollered back at him. I think maybe it was maybe he needed it right then. I don't know. I said, bro, where you at? Send me your Cash App or whatever, you know, because I wanted to make sure before I sent it to that Cash App that it was active. He ain't never say nothing back. That was the last time I heard from Reggie X. Last time I heard from him, I looked him up on social media. I even went through, like, the people that he told me to holler at on social media. I even hollered at a couple of them, said, dang, y'all ain't been in touch with Reggie yet. I'm his brother, man. Tell him to pop at me. You know, he come down here and chill me for a few days, for a week or two, get his mind right. Come post up. I got rental properties. I got 2-family flat and a single family right now. Ain't nobody in that I'm renovating. You could be staying in one room, fixing the house up with me. You know what I'm saying? Opportunities, though, basically. You know, ground level, but it's a stepping stone to help a guy get on his feet. Nobody reached back out to me. So recently, thinking about my brother, thinking about that time frame, and thinking about how to move these stories along to get out of the time frame that I've been in so far. But I keep remembering stuff, so I'm trying to move along. But it's like, damn, I thought about Reggie X and looked him up, and the first dude I saw, I put in Reginald. So I'm like, oh Lord, 2037. I thought that was him. Nope. He absconded from parole in 2019, which means that he has not been he has stopped reporting from for parole in 2019 for whatever reason. I hope he alright. I hope he alive. I hope he ain't disappeared. But absconding is a lesser charge than escape. You escape when you escape from prison. Absconding means you're still under supervision of the Department of Correction, but you're no longer reporting, and they don't know how to get in touch with you. So you basically in violation of your parole agreement. So usually when they catch that with dudes that abscond, they send them back and give them a parole denial and let them sit down for a year or two, and then they come back out. And sometimes they send them back and make them do the duration of their time, depending on the nature of the offense they was first locked up for and all that other stuff. So yeah, it was kind of sad, man, when I looked that up and I saw it. I said, damn, bro. Because it wasn't that, I mean, but come on. Listen to what I'm saying, though. What I'm about to say is this, right? It's not that hard to walk parole down when you got a support system and a plan, a relapse prevention plan that's realistic and workable. When you don't, it's hard. It's very hard. So, and it's especially increasingly hard for an individual who grew up in the penitentiary and spent 3 decades in prison. Same way Ephraim Paredes. Now just imagine, I met Ephraim Paredes, I met Reggie X on the same yard, on the same prison yard. The same prison yard I met my brother Marcellus Cornwell, The one that they alleged was making $2,000 a day from a marijuana vending machine. Check that story. You can Google that. That's everywhere now. But that's my brother too. You know, all these my brothers. Still my brother. I just talked to Marcellus the other day. Went to his brother's funeral last week. You know. Yeah, it hurt me because not just because Reggie absconded, but because look what the system did. You know, 15 years old, you committed a crime, and they threw you away to the system, and they made that man spend 30 years in prison. That's cruel for a child. And I'm sure that anybody that has children, I don't care if you're a legislator, a lawmaker, or anybody in position of power over anybody's life, any power, any position of power over the decisions that affect somebody's life, like a judge, a lawyer, you know, all those people that sometimes put the high and mighty on, right? Prosecutors, district attorneys, but when their own kids are at the are in front of the gun, then it's different. You got 15-year-old kids, you know, that's a baby. You know, I don't care. A judge who would sentence a man 15, 16 years old to life in prison with a 15-year-old at home, you think you saying that you're going to let a judge, or you'll be okay with another judge sentencing your child that much time for something that they can be rehabilitated for in a shorter amount of time? It don't take 30 years for a child with no prior history, right? No prior criminal history or nothing to get their mind right. Not with the right programming. Somebody wasn't doing their job right. The Department of Correction, the United States judicial system, and legislative system are major failures at rehabilitating or offering programs and programming for people to help themselves, whether it's cognitive behavioral therapy or not. Most of the programs that come through the MDOC that work, or through the Department of Corrections throughout the United States that work, usually come through advocacy groups or inmates who, yeah, the Department of Correction themselves don't do nothing really for inmates. They provide programming based on recommendations from outside forces and inmates putting pressure on them. It shouldn't take that much time. They quick to lock you up and bang your frame in and sentence you to all this time. But where is the rehabilitative help? Where are the U.S. college programs they've been talking about forever? Where are the Pell Grants that they allow for inmates to be able to go to college for free so that they can return? They're coming home, a lot of them. A lot of people are coming home. 60, 70% I think return back home. You're going to let them come back home uneducated, right? No skilled trades or nothing. Post-traumatic stress disorder. So there's a lot going on in the mind of people that do all that time, especially going in as kids. I just want that to marinate with y'all as I wrap this episode up, because I don't want to talk y'all to death, but I wanted to shout my brother out, and I wanted to tell that story there because we got a lot of y'all got babies, and a lot of these kids think when they do something that they're going to get off easy because they've never been in trouble before, because they first offense, or because they daddy knows somebody, they mama knows somebody, y'all got bread, y'all retained an attorney, and y'all spent $10,000, $20,000. That don't mean nothing. If you have an overzealous prosecutor, if you have an overzealous district attorney, and it's around election time, forget about it. You can almost forget about it. Watch your babies, protect your babies, like I always say, man. OG Kenny, O_G_Kenny. If you have not done so far, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Never be afraid to like or share the content, and then, you know, get in the comment section. Speak freely. I don't like what people say all the time, but I'm getting over that. So what? Say what you want to say. I just block you or refer you to my video when I said I got $5,000 for anybody that ever whooped me or put their hands on me and ain't got the issue. I love y'all though, man. I'm just talking. Keep the change. Keep them nervous. OG Kenny, O_G_Kenny. Every time from the streets. TV, another episode, and I'm out.